Our characters went through hell running through the gauntlet on Namek, defeating Frieza's soldiers from weakest to strongest, leveling up their powers, and even when they jumped Frieza, they still couldn't beat him. Goku trained on that ship non-stop all the way to Namek, working up to 100 times gravity, pushing his body to the absolute limit. Then came to Namek and got a huge Zenkai boost from when him and Ginyu switched bodies and they beat his ass, and still couldn't come close to Frieza's level of power. This man had to fulfill a legendary prophecy, something that was unheard of for Saiyans to be doing in order to defeat Frieza. Toriyama is good at writing desperation and using Goku as a plot device in order to solve said desperation. In every arc up until this point, he has always been the one that swooped in to finish the job, saving everyone from an enemy that seems impossible to beat. But now Frieza has been resurrected and there's no sign of Goku. We haven't seen or heard of this man since Planet Namek. We had no hint or possible inkling that this man was gonna come back. And with that, the Z fighters are in complete despair. Even a man like Vegeta accepted his fate. This nigga Trunks, bruh, just popped up out of nowhere, killed some of Frieza's goons, and just straight up announced like, I'm a Super Saiyan. Like, nigga, what? Even Frieza's gobsmacked like, you gotta be bluffing. Trunks, being the efficient man that he is, wastes no time, immediately disposes of Frieza, and kills him in one of the most gruesome ways I've ever seen a Dragon Ball villain get done. Did exactly what we thought Goku was gonna swoop into Earth and do. More ruthless than Goku to be. In fact, I can't imagine Goku doing someone like this. Fulfilling the main character's role on your debut is crazy, but not just any protagonist. Goku. Goku of all people. He disposes of King Cold as well. Some people said he was a wasted character, but his role was to make the situation feel as hopeless as possible, being partnered up with Frieza, and to show how much Trunks' strength dwarfs to both of them, which in turn made the androids actually feel like a big threat when Trunks describes how dangerous they are with fear in his eyes. Toriyama, like many mangaka, had an editor. Now the editor's job is to make changes and suggestions to the manga's story so that it sells. And Toriyama's editor is responsible for making him change the villain of this arc 2 times, which is where we enter androids 19 and 20. Now, I don't know what Toriyama was cooking when he decided to make Humpty Dumpty and a senior citizen the main villains of this arc, but let him cook! Listen, Android 17 and 18 are fan favorites, but I feel like that's because people take better to cooler designs. But 19 and 20 look so goofy while being dangerous, they kinda remind me of early Dragon Ball villains. We've been fighting cool ass looking aliens for so long that we forget that these goofy ass designs are Toriyama's bag. He really do this shit. Ever since the King Piccolo arc, our characters have been able to sense ki, meaning that you cannot backdoor these niggas. They are sneak proof. But the androids have an artificial key source. The Z fighters can't sense their energy, and so 19 and 20 got the jump on them. And I just love how cold their introduction is. Dr. Gero didn't give a fuck, he just started killing niggas for no reason. Like, bro, none of these people are Goku! Evil ass! I also love how Gero had no idea what a Super Saiyan was and how powerful the Z fighters managed to get post Namek arc, but yet his androids were still powerful enough to take on Super Saiyans. Like, talk about a prepared and cautious nigga, he wanted to make sure Goku's ass was dead. Damn near succeeded too, until... Now Vegeta isn't one of my favorite characters, but I can totally understand him on a surface level. Being born royalty, told that you are the best of the best, that you're the pinnacle of your race, only to be under someone else's brutal rule for the entirety of your life. Growing up fearing this man, being told to never fight back for your safety, and when you finally been put into a situation to defeat this tyrant, to get revenge for your people for what he did to you, you're powerless. And you're forced to watch as someone who is a low-born Saiyan who barely has any connection to planet Vegeta, who just accepted himself as a Saiyan recently, be the one who's powerful enough to do it, the one who instead of you, the prince, was able to achieve the legend of Super Saiyan, only to be worsened by the fact that some random nigga you haven't even heard of was able to achieve Super Saiyan as well. This man had to watch from the sidelines. Nigga was having nightmares of this shit. But all that pain and suffering finally came to an end.
This one too?
This man Vegeta was talking reckless after becoming a Super Saiyan. Talking about some, can it feel fear? Okay, Jeez, I didn't know you was coming like that. This is the most arrogant this nigga has ever been. This was his moment, his legacy. You couldn't take this from him, right? For every moment of Vegeta's highs, there is an equally embarrassing low. Enter Android 17 and 18. Now Android 17, cold ass nigga. He's so laid back and chill about everything. Takes his sweet little time, not in a rush to go anywhere. Had some of the craziest drip and was fucking niggas up with a middle part bob. Do I need to say more? Unlike many female characters in Dragon Ball, who often conform to traditional gender roles, Android 18 was different. She had a confident demeanor just like her brother, and she defeated Vegeta with ease, showcasing her strength in a way that was rare for female characters in the series. Android 16 is the gentle giant trope, which is fine, but I wish there was a little more to his character than that. The androids weren't driven by a desire for destruction or power like many of the previous villains, but they were more nonchalant, and that's what I loved about them. Seeing the B-plot of them hanging out and getting up to a little mischief while on the hunt for Goku was a good break from the main plot where our main characters were stressed out trying to make sense of the world every 5 seconds. Much more likable than their future counterparts. Originally 2 parts of a whole, Piccolo and Kami were once enemies, and their reunification shows just how far Piccolo has come as a character. Like, this was on the list of things we thought would have never happened. To put into perspective how crazy this is like if Gojo and Sukuna put aside their differences and started teaming up. That would never happen! That's how crazy this is. Piccolo was willing to set aside his pride and past animosities. Kami also faced a tough decision because by fusing with Piccolo, he basically ceases to exist as an individual. This is a heavy moment for both of them as they need to set aside their past grievances to protect the Earth from a new and much greater threat. Cell's intro is one of my favorite intros to a villain ever. 1, because it's so creepy and silent and has build up. Shit is shot like a horror film. And 2, it gave us the first Piccolo fight. Like, niggas get brand new powers and start doing anything. Buddy has never done anything like this in his life. He trying to get style points. Cell's first form might be my favorite. It's just so disgusting. The sounds he makes, his voice, his way of gaining power. Like, why would Jaro design him to be this way? I'm starting to wonder what fucked up things go through his mind to conjure up some shit like this. The one problem I despise about his intro though is that the second he thought he had Piccolo on the ropes, he revealed everything to him. Like, why would you do that? Completely kill all the mystery he had going for him. Like, we could have been making all kinds of theories to find out his true identity. Now we know who he is from jump. Like, there's no room for wonder or speculation. I'm sick. While Cell goes under the radar, Piccolo and 17 fight, and them boys were going hit for hit. I love even fights like this, and I love how 17, despite being evenly matched, he's not throwing a fit like most villains. He's just having a good ass time, man. That good ass time, however, was ruined when Cell came up out the woodwork, much stronger than before, and with Piccolo being wasted and 16 unable to stop Cell, he has his first evolution and turns into the ugliest form I've ever seen. This fish-lipped ass nigga. But after seeing the other designs that Toriyama had that stayed in the draft, perhaps this one ain't so bad after all. Cell trying to convince 18 using 17's voice. Like, nigga, you will never be him. You can't replicate his swag. We all know Tien gets his moment by buying extra time for Android 18 to escape, which was crucial because it allowed Vegeta and Trunks to come out the time chamber. And this is what I love so much about this arc. Everyone gets their shine. Yamcha was responsible for carrying Goku home to get his medicine, Bulma was responsible for making the detonator and repairing Android 16, and even though the detonator didn't get used, we all know what happened with Android 16 later on in the story. Kami had his moment, like I said before. Everyone in the main cast, no matter how small they contributed something, man. Now, a lot of people say it's equally Krillin and Vegeta that fumbled, but in my opinion, it's only Vegeta's fault. Imagine the finest woman you've ever seen. You gotta be out of your cotton picking mind if you think that button's ever getting pressed. Especially considering the fact that they end up getting together later on. This is 100% on Vegeta. He had this nigga Cell dead to rights. Could have finished the job right there, but what he do? Let Cell whisper sweet nothings in his ear. Like I said before, for every high for Vegeta, there is an equally embarrassing low. This man cannot help himself. He's a fumbler to the highest degree. Had to make Trunks step in an attempt to clean his mess up afterwards. Anyways, when Cell becomes perfect, you can see the Saiyan DNA coming out more. This man wanted smoke from everybody. Rightfully so. Cell represents the idea of perfection and the pursuit of ultimate power, which resonates with many of the series' main characters. For Vegeta, Cell was the ultimate test of his pride as a Saiyan prince. For Goku, a chance to challenge his limits. The Cell and Goku fight was a fantastic set piece. Cell using all the moves from the Z fighters and playing around not taking stuff seriously is so Goku of him. Then they got serious and started scrapping, which is top 10 sequences in the Dragon Ball anime ever. And in the manga, the paneling was fantastic. You should definitely give it a read. As for what Cell meant for Gohan, adorable little Gohan, man. I can't believe the little outbursts of power he always had tied into this arc's conclusion so perfectly. I respect Toriyama for taking a risky move at the time and passing down the mantle to Gohan, completing Goku's arc as a character. We watched Goku grow up from a child to adulthood, watched him discover his true identity as a Saiyan, and while first denying it, eventually reconciled and accepted it. Now the final hurdle he must climb is being a good father. I adore the scene where Goku realizes he made a mistake by not understanding Gohan's nature fully, sending him out there to fight Cell. He was immediately ready to jump in and fight Cell again. He's a good dad, man. Just because he threw the Senzu bean at Cell doesn't make him a bad father. He just believed in his boy that much. But yeah, for Gohan, Cell is the embodiment of the overwhelming threat that required him to grow beyond his father's shadow and reach his full potential. And ho, he reached his full potential alright. Had that man Cell looking like he got a stroke. Nigga probably got like 10% of Vegeta's DNA but is facing 100% of Vegeta type consequences. The trash talking Gohan was putting down was also crazy. Look at this.
嬉しい。ああ、毒の思いやられて死なせてしまったお父さんの仇を討てて嬉しいんだ。貴様はぜひこの手で殺したかった。そう思っていた。
Oh my god. Gohan! I don't even recognize you nowadays. What have they done to you? Vegeta finally realizing he cares about his son when he's at death's door, mind you, is where his character begins to soften from this point onwards. And if it wasn't for him distracting Cell at the last moment, Gohan probably wouldn't have even won. I mean, let's be real, like, Gohan would have won without anybody's help or not, but it's nice to know that Vegeta had a hand in it. The ending of this arc is so beautiful, man. Goku deciding to stay dead to keep his friends and family safe because he's the main denominator of all the villains popping up, passing the torch to Gohan, Trunks going back to the future to kill the androids. Everyone's character arcs had been wrapped up. It felt like this was supposed to be the true ending of Dragon Ball. Rest in peace to Akira Toriyama, man. And with that, I'm out.